I do think there's a clear line between torture and interrogation.
Oh, what is it?
What's the line?
Yeah, what's the line? When did waterboarding
in
become
judgment,
torture?
Waterboarding has always been torture.
Oh, has it really?
Pat.
Can I read your column from 2003 when we found out that
some of what they describe as the stress postures, I would call those torture too. And I think certain levels of sleep deprivation are torture as well.
Sleep deprivation's torture.
Depending on how far you go.
So tell me, what should we do? Should we just bring them a birthday cake and ask them what soccer match they'd like to see?
No, I think that's unfair, Joe. I think that there are ways
it's not
to question
unfair.
people.
It's realistic.
No, it's not.
Sleep deprivation is torture?
Depending on how long it goes on.
I can't even engage in this conversation.
I think that there is a real politique reason.
I can't even engage in this conversation. Yes, it is. We live in a dangerous world, and you sit in the comfort 7 years later after 9/11.
We live in a very dangerous world, Joe, but there are...
I'm going to be talking to you.
Can I ask you one practical question? Can I ask you one practical question?
No, I'm going to be talking to you.
Just one.
Let me say something. I'm going to be talking to you the day after 9/11 because you sit, and everybody out there sits in the comfort 7 years later of not being attacked, of what George Bush and Dick Cheney did. And it's funny how in 2001, in the fall of 2001, and in 2002, and in 2003, most of these things were fine with most people, 80% of Americans. The further we got away from it, suddenly it was evil. And George Bush and Dick Cheney were the most evil people.
And judgments made in haste are not necessarily the right ones. And it is, in fact, in times of haste that people can make their most dangerous, most morally questionable decisions.
The real thing about
yes,
the one that sat through all of this,
the real issue with torture, Joe, which I think is really important to bear in mind, is there is not a lot of evidence that the actual information you get works. And for me, one of the people whose opposition to torture I find the most credible is John McCain, who is a person who has experienced it, and who is a person who has said very early and very courageously that this was not the right thing to do.
Hold on a second.
But I think Mika wanted to let Pat attack me also.
Actually, we're not going to even go there, Christia. On John McCain. We've gone there before. We're not going to go there again.
Why not?
But I'll tell you off air. But I will tell you this, and there's a very good reason. I will tell you this, that when you say torture, you define waterboarding as torture, right?
In my view, yes.
So when you say torture doesn't work, you're saying waterboarding doesn't work.
I think the problem with information that people get under torture is when people are tortured, they will say what they think their interrogators want to hear. And so the information overall is unreliable. That doesn't mean, Joe, that some information you get...
Does waterboarding work or not?
I am answering your question,
Joe.
And my answer is this. My answer is this.
Does waterboarding work or not?
Some information you get might be reliable, but a lot of it won't be. And if you get a mixture of reliable and unreliable information, it is all tainted.
I hate to say this because I'm going to sound like Mika's dad here. You were speaking of things in which you have no idea what you're talking about.
Do you, Joe?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I know for a fact that waterboarding brought our interrogators, brought Americans, probably about 70 to 75% of what they got. What they got from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed opened doors that we are still going through. We have captured and killed so many people because of waterboarding. So you can say, if you want, that waterboarding is immoral. Fine. That's your judgment. Waterboarding's immoral.
I do say that, but I also think that the information you get is highly questionable.
But it's not.
It is.
It is not.
I actually think there's a moral issue about
and I agree with that.
All right, hold on, let Pat talk.
Well, I just have to say for the record, if anybody's out there watching this, and then I'm just going to be quiet and let you all live in your fantasy world, waterboarding has produced and given so much evidence to our people in the CIA and in other intelligence agencies. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed by himself has done more to crush al-Qaeda than Dick Cheney or George Bush because of waterboarding. And that's all I'm going to say this segment.